My wife kissed me on the cheek that afternoon and said, "I'm off to the spa. I'll be back later." I nodded, smiled, wished her a good time, like any husband would. But the second the door closed, I knew something was wrong. Truth is, she wasn't going to the spa. She was going to see him. And what happened after still burns in my mind like it was yesterday. You ever get that gut punch, that sharp twist in your stomach that whispers, "Something's not right"? That's exactly what I felt. It wasn't just the way she said it. It was too smooth, too rehearsed. Not gonna lie. I sat there for a few seconds, staring at the wall, trying to convince myself I was being paranoid, but deep down I knew. And here's the thing. You don't get to that kind of suspicion overnight. It builds. It builds over months, years, tiny little cracks in a marriage that used to feel unshakable. Let me take you back. We'd been married long enough that routines were second nature. She had her habits, I had mine. For years she was my best friend, my partner in everything. We raised a child together, we laughed, we fought, we made up. I thought we were solid. But then she started taking more me days. First it was yoga, then salon trips, then the spa. Always the spa. And at first, I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Who wouldn't? Everyone deserves self-care, right? But then the details started slipping. I'd ask how it went. She'd give vague answers. Just a massage. Some skincare. No names, no specifics. Once I asked which spa she liked most, and she hesitated. Actually hesitated before naming one. And later, she changed her answer. Little things. Things you tell yourself don't matter. But they do. One evening, she came home late from one of those spa visits. Her hair was a mess. Her perfume had faded into something else. Not lavender, not oils, cologne, not mine. I asked her about it and she laughed it off, said some guy bumped into her in the lobby. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But my gut wouldn't let me. Then came the money thing. She said she was going for a full package one weekend, facials and everything. I checked our bank account later, curious. No charges. Nothing. That was the night the little crack started to look like a canyon. And yet, I stayed quiet. Because admitting it out loud meant admitting my marriage was breaking. Not gonna lie, I hated myself for even thinking it. But the lies didn't stop. Thus, spa became her excuse, her cover, and each time she said it, her eyes avoided mine just a little more. That's how we got here, to this day, to this moment, to me sitting in silence, her words still echoing, "I'm going to the spa." Only this time I wasn't going to just sit back and wonder. This time I was going to follow, to find out the truth, to finally see with my own eyes what my gut had been screaming at me for months. And the truth I uncovered that night? It still haunts me. I waited 5 minutes after she left before grabbing my keys. My hands were shaking as I slid into my car, heart pounding so hard it felt like the whole neighborhood could hear it. Truth is, I didn't want to be the guy following his wife around, like some amateur detective. I wanted to be the guy who trusted her, who believed every word, but trust had cracks now, and you can't build a home on cracks. I pulled out slowly, staying far enough behind her that she wouldn't notice, every nerve in my body on edge. You know how in the movies, when someone tails another car, they make it look easy? Let me tell you, it's not. Every red light felt like a trap. Every turn felt like she'd look in her mirror and spot me. But she never did. She drove with that same calm confidence, like a woman heading to a spa day she'd earned. Except I already knew where she wasn't going. She hit the freeway, but not toward the spa she always mentioned, not toward any spa I knew. My chest tightened as she took an exit leading downtown, past the row of restaurants and boutiques. Not gonna lie, for a second I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe she had found a new place. But then she turned onto a narrow side street, one lined with apartments. My grip on the wheel tightened. No spa, no salon, just a quiet block where people lived their private lives. I slowed down, parked half a block away, my eyes glued to her car. She pulled into a spot, stepped out, adjusting her coat, checking her phone like she was waiting for someone. And then, He appeared. A man, maybe mid-30s, dressed casual, confident, walking straight toward her like he'd done it 100 times before. And when she saw him, her face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in years. She smiled, wide and unguarded, and then she hugged him. Not just a polite hug. The kind of hug that lingers, that says this is where I want to be. My stomach dropped. I felt like I'd been punched. You ever feel your entire world tilt in 1 second? That's what it was. Everything I thought I knew about my life, my marriage, my home, it cracked right there on that sidewalk. They talked for a minute. Close. Too close. Then they turned, together, walking into the apartment building like it was routine, like it was theirs. I sat frozen in my car, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, every thought colliding in my head. Do I storm in there? Do I confront them right now? Make a scene? Rip the truth out in front of both their faces? Or do I wait, gather proof, make it undeniable? My chest was tight, my vision blurry with anger. Not gonna lie, a part of me wanted to slam the door, run after them, scream until the whole block knew what was happening. But another part, the part that had been ignored and dismissed too many times, whispered, "Be smart. Don't let her twist this on you. Get the proof." So, I sat there. Minutes felt like hours. I stared at that apartment door like it was the mouth of hell, swallowing my marriage whole. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Our son sending me a picture he drew, a family picture. Him, me, her. All smiles. And I felt the tears sting my eyes, because even he didn't know yet that the family he drew didn't exist anymore. I wiped my face quickly, my heart hardening. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about him, about the example I was setting. I couldn't let him grow up thinking lies were normal, that betrayal was love. I grabbed my phone, opened the camera, and snapped a photo of her car in front of that building, another of her walking in with him. My hands shook so badly the pictures blurred, but they were enough. Proof. Cold, undeniable proof. And yet, even with evidence in my pocket, I felt hollow. Because proof doesn't fix what's already broken. Proof just forces you to see it for what it is. After maybe an hour, they came out. I ducked low in my seat, my heart racing. They laughed as they walked back to her car, her arm brushing against his. She looked lighter, freer, like a woman living a second life. And that's when it hit me. The spa wasn't just a lie, it was a cover. A whole other world she'd been building without me, and I had no idea how long it had been going on. They kissed, quick but intimate, before she got back in her car. He waved her off, turned back toward the building, and she drove away like nothing happened, like she was just another wife on her way home from the spa. I sat there in shock, my whole body numb. My wife, the woman I built a life with him. In that moment, I didn't just feel betrayed, I felt erased. And as I started the car, following her at a distance again, one thought echoed in my mind, louder than all the rest. What do I do now? Driving home that night felt like drifting through fog, my hands on the wheel but my mind somewhere else entirely. Truth is, I couldn't stop replaying what I'd seen, her smile, the hug, the kiss, the way she walked into that apartment like it wasn't the first time. My wife, my partner, living a life I didn't know about. I pulled into the driveway and just sat there for a long minute, staring at the porch light glowing like nothing was wrong. You ever feel like your whole world is burning, but the outside looks perfectly normal? That's what it felt like. My son's toys were scattered in the yard the same as always. The kitchen light was on, like dinner was waiting. Normal. Everything looked normal. But inside me, nothing was normal anymore. I walked in, and there she was, standing by the stove, humming softly, flipping something in a pan. She turned, smiled, and said, "Hey, you're home early." Early. My chest tightened. She didn't know. She didn't know I'd seen everything. Yeah, I muttered, trying to keep my voice steady. Traffic was light. She kissed my cheek casually, the same lips that had just kissed another man. Not gonna lie, it made me want to flinch, but I held still. I had to. My son came running in, throwing his arms around me, showing me the picture he'd drawn earlier, the one with the three of us smiling together. I smiled back, but my heart broke all over again, because he didn't know either. He still thought we were a perfect family. I sat at the table listening to her chatter about her spa day. She said something about how relaxing it was, how she felt refreshed. I just stared at her, my mind screaming, "How can you stand there and lie to my face like this?" But I didn't say it, not yet. I studied her carefully, her tone, her expressions, the way she avoided too much detail. She always avoided detail. That's how liars survive. I excused myself after dinner, went upstairs, and closed the bedroom door. I pulled out my phone, looked at the blurry photos I'd taken. Proof. My hands trembled holding it. But proof doesn't tell you what to do with it. Do I confront her now? Slam the phone down in front of her? Watch her scramble for excuses? Or do I wait, gather more, make it airtight? My heart said, confront her now. My pride said, don't wait another second. But my head told me to be smart, because liars are slippery. They twist things, make you the bad guy, make you question your own sanity. I wasn't going to let that happen this time. So I decided to wait, to build, to make sure when I confronted her, she couldn't wriggle free. But waiting is its own torture. Every smile she gave me felt fake now. Every touch felt stolen. Every word felt like another lie piled on top of the others. And guess what? I started noticing things I'd ignored before. The extra time she spent on her phone, the late night, the bathroom breaks where she scrolled through messages, the way she angled her screen away from me. I noticed everything now. My sleep was wrecked. I'd lie there beside her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, wondering if she was dreaming of him. I'd watch her roll over, facing away from me, and I'd wonder if she wished she was in his bed instead. And truth is, it ate me alive. But at the same time, it fueled me. I started checking details, receipts, bank statements, her car mileage, every little thing. And the more I checked, the more I saw. Spa visits that never existed. Charges that didn't match her story. Gaps of time she couldn't explain. It was all there, hiding in plain sight. The betrayal wasn't just one night, it was a pattern. A life she'd been building behind my back. One night, as she slept, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her. My phone in my hand, the photos open, my chest tight with anger. I whispered to myself, how could you? How could you throw away everything we built? She stirred, sighed, rolled over but didn't wake. And I realized then, the woman lying next to me wasn't the same woman I married. She was someone else now. Someone who could look me in the eye, kiss me goodbye, and walk straight into another man's arms, without blinking. That realization hardened something inside me. I couldn't unsee it. I couldn't unknow it. And I couldn't let it slide. But the question still gnawed at me. When? When do I drop the truth? At breakfast? At dinner? Do I wait for the perfect moment, or do I create it? And more importantly, how do I protect my son from the fallout? Because he didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve to watch his family crumble because of lies he never asked for. That night, lying awake in the dark, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let her control the story anymore. I wasn't going to sit in silence, pretending everything was fine. I was going to confront her, but not just with anger, with proof, with every piece of evidence she couldn't deny. And when I did, she would have no place left to hide. The morning I finally decided to do it, the house felt different. Or maybe it was just me. Truth is, I'd been carrying the weight of her lies for weeks, and it was crushing me. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't even look at her, without feeling that knife twist in my chest. Not gonna lie, I was scared. scared of what would happen when the words finally left my mouth. But I was more scared of staying silent. So I waited until breakfast. The three of us at the table, me, her, our son eating cereal, humming some cartoon song. She was scrolling on her phone, pretending to be half interested in conversation. I put my coffee cup down harder than I meant to, and the sound made her jump. She looked up, eyebrows raised. "Everything okay?" That was it. No more waiting. I pulled my phone out, opened the folder of pictures, and slid it across the table. "You tell me." She frowned, reached for it, and the second her eyes landed on the photos, her car parked outside the apartment, her hugging him, her face drained of color. She froze. My son looked up, confused, but I gently told him to go play in the living room. He hesitated, sensing something was wrong, but he listened. Once he was gone, the silence was thick. Finally, she whispered, "Where did you get these?" My laugh was bitter. "Where do you think? I followed you. Spa, huh? That's one hell of a massage they're giving you there." Her lips trembled, but then her face hardened. "You shouldn't have followed me." I slammed my fist on the table, my voice sharp. "I shouldn't have followed you? That's your defense? Not that you lied, not that you cheated, but that I dared to find out the truth?" She looked away, her voice shaking. "It's not what it looks like." My chest burned. Don't you dare say that. I saw you. I saw the way you smiled at him, the way you hugged him, the way you kissed him. Tell me, what exactly am I misunderstanding?" She buried her face in her hands, her shoulders shaking. For a moment, I thought she was going to beg, to admit, to apologize. But then she looked up, eyes red, and said the words that nearly made me snap. "It's your fault." My head jerked back. "My fault?" She nodded quickly, desperate. "You don't see me anymore. You're always busy, always tired, always distant. He made me feel alive again." The rage that flooded through me was indescribable. "So your answer to feeling neglected is to crawl into someone else's bed? To lie? To destroy our family? That's how you fix it?" She flinched, but she didn't deny it. Instead, she whispered, "I never meant for it to go this far." My hands were trembling as I leaned closer. "How far did it go, huh? Tell me the truth. Was it just a hug? Just a kiss? Or have you been with him all along?" Silence. Her silence was my answer. My stomach turned, bile rising in my throat. I stood, pacing, my hands on my head. God, I was such an idiot. I trusted you. I defended you. I told myself I was paranoid. And all the while, you were with him. She stood too, tears streaming down her face. "Please don't do this. Don't ruin us." I spun on her, my voice breaking. "I'm not ruining us. You did. You ruined us the first time you lied, the first time you told me you were at the spa while he was touching you." She sobbed, reaching for me, but I pulled back. And that's when she blurted out the twist that knocked the air out of me. "I ended it with him. I swear. It's over." I froze. "What?" She nodded frantically. "That day you followed me, it was supposed to be the last time. I told him I couldn't do it anymore, that I had to choose my family. Please, believe me. It's over." My mind spun. Could it be true? Was I too late? Or was she actually telling the truth for once? I searched her face, every flicker of her eyes, every quiver of her lip, trying to read her. Truth is, I didn't know what to believe anymore. My world was shattered. And even if she was telling the truth now, the damage was already done. I whispered, "You don't get to decide when it's over. You don't get to cheat, lie, and then suddenly choose me like I'm your backup plan. That's not how this works." She dropped to her knees, clutching my hand, sobbing, "Please, please don't leave me. We can fix this. We can go to therapy, anything. Just don't take our son away from me." Her desperation was real, but so was my pain. I looked down at her. the woman I once loved more than anything, and felt nothing but betrayal. And as my son's laughter drifted in from the other room, a chill ran through me. Because no matter what choice I made, his life was never going to be the same. I stood there in the kitchen, her clinging to my hand, sobbing, begging me to stay, and truth is, for a split second I almost wanted to, not because I trusted her, not because I believed her, but because walking away felt impossible. You don't just throw away years, a marriage, a home, a family, without feeling like you're tearing yourself in half. But then I heard my son's voice again from the living room, calling out, laughing, asking if we could play later. And that's when the fog cleared, because this wasn't just about me and her anymore. This was about him, about the world he would grow up in, about the example I would set. I pulled my hand free from hers and said quietly, "It's over." She shook her head violently, grabbing at my sleeve, her voice breaking. "No, no, you don't mean that. We can fix this. Please, we can fix this." I looked at her, really looked at her, and all I saw was the lie. The spa trips, the perfume, the hotel, the hug, the kiss. Him. Every memory I had of us was tainted now, poisoned by the knowledge of what she did when I wasn't looking. "You already broke it," I whispered, "and some things can't be fixed." She collapsed onto the floor, sobbing into her hands, but I didn't move to comfort her, not this time. I went to the living room, scooped up my son, and held him close. He looked up at me, his little eyes confused. "Dad, why's Mom crying?" My throat tightened, but I forced a smile. "Because sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. Buddy, but I promise you I'll always be here. Always." That night I packed a bag for me and my son. She begged me not to go, begged me to sleep on it, begged me to think about what this would do to our family. But the truth is, the family she was talking about didn't exist anymore. She killed it the moment she lied, the moment she chose him. I walked out the door with my boy in my arms, my wife crumpled on the floor behind us, and the sound of her cries fading as I closed the door. The drive to my brother's place felt strangely calm. My son fell asleep in the back seat, clutching his stuffed animal, and I kept glancing at him in the mirror, reminding myself why I was doing this. Not gonna lie, my heart hurt like hell. I wanted to scream, to break something, to rewind time, and unsee everything I'd seen. But I couldn't. You can't unknow the truth. The next few days were chaos. Phone calls, texts, her showing up at my brother's house begging to talk. I ignored most of it. I spoke to a lawyer, started preparing for what came next: divorce, custody, all the ugly battles I never thought I'd have to fight. And every night, when my son asked where Mom was, I swallowed the lump in my throat and told him, "She'll always be your mom, but right now, it's just you and me, buddy." And he'd smile, like that was enough. Maybe for him it was. The hardest part wasn't losing her. It was realizing she'd already been gone for a long time. The woman I thought I loved, the woman I thought I married, she'd left the moment she chose lies over honesty. The spa was just the cover. The truth was, I lost her long before I found out. But here's the thing. You can survive betrayal. It doesn't feel like it in the moment. It feels like you're drowning, like the ground has opened under your feet. But you come out the other side stronger, harder, clearer. And looking at my son, holding his little hand as we walked into our new life, I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't invisible anymore. I wasn't the fool anymore. I was a father, a protector, and no matter how broken I felt, I was going to give him the life he deserved. One built on truth, not lies. My wife still calls sometimes, still texts, still begs for another chance. But I don't answer, because trust, once it's shattered, can't be glued back together, and love built on lies isn't love at all. So that's how it ended. The spa trips, the lies, the betrayal. It all came crashing down. And maybe one day, when my son is old enough, I'll tell him the full story. But for now, all he needs to know is that his dad chose him. And that's enough. You ever had to walk away from someone you thought you couldn't live without, only to realize you're stronger without them? That was me. And if you've ever been lied to, if you've ever felt that gut punch of betrayal, trust me, you know exactly what I mean.